Hey everyone, welcome back. Good to see you again. Here we are, it's Wednesday night, so we're just going to do what we normally do. Get together and with some other guys in the industry, talk about shower doors and other glass stuff. And I just want to say, I want to apologize for last week. My audio was terrible. I had it I was on with Tim before we started up, and he was like, "Oh, I can't hear you," so I turned it up, and I turned it up some more, and then I was blasting by the time we started the recording. So anyway, you're going to have that, and still kind of trying to dial it in. I see David Coral is joining us. That's awesome. How you doing, David? Give you a minute to get your audio turned on there. Well, anyway, welcome everybody.
Hey,
we've got a few new people here this evening, so that's pretty exciting. It's always cool to have some new people on. Gets tired of some of these stale old guys. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but some of you guys are pretty crusty. But that's okay. We love you anyway. Well, hey, Brian is new with us. He just started to kind of introduce himself a little bit, so I want to go back to him for a minute and just tell us again really quickly who you are, the name of your shop, and where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Chattanooga Premier Glass. We are a residential glass company, so we do shower doors, install insulated glass, tabletops, mirrors, you name it. I have a second company, Quality Wholesale Glass, where we make insulated glass. So that's a whole another phone call, I guess. Oh. But yeah, so life is fun.
That's awesome. Well, welcome aboard. I'm glad you joined us. Yeah, you're not the only one who has, a couple of companies, kind of sometimes one supplying the other.
That's cool. It.
Yeah. Great to hear from you. Thanks for coming. And Greg Stoll is joining us this evening. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? Why don't you introduce yourself real quickly and kind of tell us where you're from and what you do?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I've been kind of a lurker watching these in the background on Wednesday night. So thanks for asking me to come on. And so we are in Knoxville, Tennessee. Bill and I probably go way back. I stopped into one of his showrooms probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. We were on vacation, and that means my wife sits by the pool and I go look at glass shops. It's a terrible, terrible thing that I have. And so met one of his sons and we started talking about fabrication. We weren't fabricating at the time, and chatting with a couple other people, and we decided that we were going to go stronger in shower doors. And so his business kind of motivated me a little bit at the time, and that was to fabricate our own shower doors. So we basically fabricate, temper, install shower doors, and control the process. As Bill shakes his head, he knows the wonder it is to control from start to finish. So we have 22 people, 4 crews. So
great business too. Not only great business, he's a great guy. So he's really good to have on this group. Because we've got, Greg, we've got guys that are like Steve out of Austin, Texas, one guy show, but that's okay. So is Chris. So we've got small, medium, large, a good mix. And now David's here as a supplier. That's good. And I offered somebody from FHC to join us. They couldn't make it tonight. So Chris, I don't want to take over your show. Keep going.
No, you're welcome to any time. And I'll tell you what, if Bill Dobbin says you're a great guy.
He is.
That's
a lot to look
at. Something.
He's top notch. Top notch.
Well, David from HMI, man, great to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Doing great. Glad to finally make it on one of these, Chris. Appreciate you inviting me.
It's always great to see you, man. Glad to have you aboard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Are you standing in for Jim Evans tonight?
I am not. What, Big Clips?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know Jim wasn't going to be on here, actually.
He's been the last 2.
Yeah.
That's good. It's funny.
Yeah, he's become a regular.
Bill, good to see you again.
Same here, David. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell Chris, have him tell everybody about what he does and who he's
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Representing.
Introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm David Coral. I'm with HMI Glass, formerly Cardinal Shower Enclosures, or HMI Cardinal. We rebranded at the beginning of this year to Cardinal Glass as we kind of brought our latest acquisition, WoundTech, under our branding. WoundTech was based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and in an effort to kind of bring everybody into the same brand, we rebranded as HMI. So I've been with HMI for about going on 7 years. I started out running or covering the New England region in outside sales for HMI, then Cardinal Shower Enclosures. And then I moved to managing the sales team on the East Coast. And then most recently took a new role in October of 2020 as Director of A&D Relations. So I reach out to architects and designers and work with hotel flags and that type of thing to get our product specified and that whole game. So that's who I am and what I do. My family has been in the glass business my whole life. I've also been in the glass business my whole life as a result of that. I started out, kind of cut my teeth working for Charlottesville Glass and Mirror in Charlottesville, Virginia. And then multiple other glass shops in the Virginia area before moving up to New England to work for HMI. So kind of the short story of who I am.
Awesome. Great to have you. And I see we have Brian Schwartz. Brian, you are new to the group. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, what shop you're with, and what you do and stuff.
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name is Brian. I'm owner operator of Freedom Glass and Mirror. Pretty much a one-man show right now. Got a couple guys I can call and give me a hand when I need to lift stuff that's a little bigger for me. But full service glass company, showers, mirrors, window replacements, everything. I mean, pretty much everything that people need done. I mean, unless it's way above my head, I'll take it on, no job too small type of thing.
What city are you from, Brian?
I'm in Midland Park, New Jersey, Bergen County, northern New Jersey.
Okay.
Freedom.
Welcome.
I like the sound of that, man. It's got a nice ring to it. So
Yeah.
Right on, Brian. Thanks for joining us. That's great, man. I got a whole bunch of new blood here.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Hey, I was, it's funny because I'm also, it's the one man thing, and I had somebody ask me one time, where do you get most of your work? And I just said, knee jerk response was from referrals or really from repeat business. And the person said, well, that's weird. I mean, you're a shower door guy. How many shower doors do people buy? And I was like, wow, that's true. How do I have so much repeat business when I sell shower doors? It's not like people, are going to buy 10 shower doors, in their lifetime. But really, if you cater to a more affluent clientele, they may have houses with lots of bathrooms, or they may just have lots of houses,
and they have lots of friends.
And they have lots of friends. And what I found is that I was actually doing multiple jobs for the same customers. In fact, I had a customer just this past week. First, I went to do kind of a shower screen thing in his master bathroom. It was kind of weird. It was kind of a neo angle thing that had like one inside angle and a couple outside angles, and he just wanted the glass around his tub, and it was kind of a fun project to do. And then after I finished that, he and his wife decided they wanted to add a door to it. So I went back and added a door. And then just this past week, he had me come out and do 2 more bathrooms in his house. And actually, we've kind of become friends now. I was doing the bathroom where his office is. And in his office, he has all this radio equipment. He's a amateur, ham radio guy. And I was like, wow, I've always wanted to be, to do that, become an amateur radio guy, And He's like, oh yeah, it's really cool. He started telling me all about it. And he's like, look, I'll loan you a radio and you can listen to it. And so we've actually become buddies now, from being a customer to just really, you know, friends, which is awesome. And to me, you know, the way that I see things, the way that I value things, I mean, that is like the ultimate accomplishment of going from, you know, a business relationship to a friendship. Because really, you know, I'd rather make friends than customers any day of the week, you know. And so it got me to thinking about that whole thing of having a regular customer. How do you go about gaining customers, making them regular customers? What do you do to keep them? And how do you maintain those relationships? So I'd like to hear, you know, whatever tips you guys might have about that, you know, making repeat customers, retaining customers, that sort of a thing, especially when you're in kind of a niche industry. So who wants to start? Steve, what do you think about that?
Well, Chris, I'm kind of like with you. I mean, it's pretty much in our game, it's customer service. It's everybody's game is customer service. But I mean, really, with the single guys, one-man bands that's got a selection of customers, you really got to keep them happy because, you know, they do have choices. But I've kind of the same way. I've become friends. I do a lot of work with builders, and I've become friends with them. So a lot of my repeat work is from those builders, and then just friends of those builders. And you know, they'll call their buddies and say, "Hey, this is my glass guy," and I got 2 of those last week just from builders' friends, and basically just keeping them happy, which is it's kind of a challenge right now. But luckily, luckily the problems are not just in the glass industry, so they're more understanding of it, you know. But just trying to provide for them and make them feel like that, you know, they're your customer and not just another check. Yeah,
you make a good point there. I mean, with the way the supply line is everywhere, it's pretty easy to say to a customer, you know, it's the old thing of like, okay, how soon are you going to have it done? And, you know, now you can kind of answer, well, you know how things are out there. It's going to take a little bit. But, you know, we're going to get this done as quickly as we can. So.
Yep.
What about you, Bill? What words of wisdom can you bestow on us?
It's kind of like what we always talk about. It's building relationships, not only with builders and designers, but just your homeowners. Just before I logged on tonight, I got an inbox from the community that I live in, somebody I never met before. He said, "Hey, do you own my shower door?" And I said, "Yes." And she didn't know me. I've never met her. By the time we were done, I had to cut her off to jump on this call. But, you know, I always ask, where did you move from? I'm trying to find common ground, right? Where are you from? What activities do you like? And we ended up liking, you know, a lot of the same things, meeting the same people. Now we have a bond. And all it is finding that common ground for a bond. And that's whether you're in business or in personal relationships, politics, doesn't really matter what you're in. That's what you got to find and work at it. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I got a terrible memory. I can't remember their name." That's something you got to work at. And when you do, it's better. You'll remember the names of their kids or their pets, or, you know, she owns an Akita or whatever it is. Just remember something. And that way you say, "Hey, how's your dog?" And you got a customer for life. It's just something that ties you in. And, you know, whether you're a glass guy or any trade, but the fact that somebody in the trades goes out of their way to make that relationship, that's what's really special. Because, I mean, I've had painters and carpenters at my house and they don't do that. So it's just good common sense stuff.
Yeah, it's make a connection some way, right?
Yeah, anything. You might drive the same car, or, you know, I look for all telltale signs when I go to houses. I don't know, same model TV, whatever it is, just something. When I pull up to their house, you know, they got the little tag on the back of their car. It says where they're from or what college or what sticker, or there's going to be something in common you could talk about. You know, I'd rather be fishing or flying or whatever it is, and then you talk about it.
Bill, with you, I imagine there's quite a few people from Massachusetts down in Florida.
A lot,
Yeah.
especially in Fort Myers, right? We got the training camp here. So the people from Massachusetts have a tendency to come to Fort Myers because of the training camp.
Yeah.
So we have a big Massachusetts connection.
Yeah.
This part of Florida is great because it goes up 75. So most of what we have is Midwestern people because of the commute. 95 through Miami connects the East Coast. Right. But certain people in Massachusetts don't get along with certain people in New York and New Jersey. Their personalities don't blend. So those people end up going to the East Coast of Florida and the others come to the West Coast of Florida. So if you don't hear the really strong accent over here, it's because the people are from, you know, Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, all down this way. Just different lifestyle.
Sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you didn't cut me off. I was waiting for you to talk.
I think, thank you. I think what we find is, and what I try to let my guys know is, everybody expects that somebody can put in a shower door when they call them. They aren't expecting to hire somebody who can't do the job. But we're being judged on every level, whether we return the phone call, how we talk when we answer the phone call. When you drive up to the installation, are you in your van on a cell phone for 10 minutes before you get out of the car? Are you on time? Are you late when you knock on the door? Do you clean up everything in the bathroom on your way out? And when we do our surveys, and we survey all of our residential customers with one question, would you recommend us, yes or no? And then optional, they can add comments. And the comments that we get 95% of the time have nothing to do with the glass, nothing. Because they expect the glass to go in. They expect it to be right. When it's wrong, okay, you've got some things to do. But over and over again, your guys are so professional. Your guys were on time. You're the only people who showed up on time. You're the only people who got the job done and got out on time. They cleaned up after themselves. It was like nobody had been there. Those are the things when you talk about how do you get more work, how do you keep more work. Those are basic things, but they're critical because it shows you care about their house, their, you know, and everything. And so that's where we get the compliments from, is that we actually showed up, did the job, cleaned up, and were professional and polite.
It's a big deal. Do you have them give you Google reviews, and then do you tie that into your website?
We don't, Bill. We probably should. The surveys are done for internal purposes. Basically, we send out the survey to every single residential customer, and we wait a couple weeks. We send a thank you card, handwritten thank you card, after the installation, about a week, and then maybe 2 weeks later, after they've had a chance to use the shower, we then send out the survey, and we get some really good feedback from people. And then we take those in the shop meetings and we read the surveys and who was on the installation crew, so the guys can hear, you know, who was being bragged about. So
nice.
But I should tie that to the reviews.
Yeah, I do. And then we also bonus the guys when they get those reviews. I have a bonus schedule. So, you know, I tell our guys, we could have the best product in the world and the salesman could do the greatest job. You're the last person they see. And it's what you do is how those reviews are going to come through and if they're going to be repeat customers. And I don't look at them as installers. I look at them as salesmen. Yep. Because really, they got to clean the glass, clean up the place. Every little thing is going to be inspected, much more than when they come into our showroom. They're not inspecting it like that. And they're not inspecting it at a salesman level. But when the job gets installed.
Some people are watching the installers. They'll sit right there in the bathroom the whole time.
Yeah, we've had guys pull up chairs. Yeah.
Exactly right. And so.
How about somebody having a camera?
Oh, yeah.
I had a guy with a camera.
Nice.
In the bathroom, and the guy set something in front of it. And the homeowner came and moved the camera.
I love it.
Never had that before.
Did you charge him for royalties?
Yeah.
So, you know, I always say, assume that the customer is going to leave you and run to Google and write a review.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't go right, they will do that.
They will do
that.
that.
Definitely.
They will do that.
No, you know, the way I put this is fix the customer.
Yeah.
Because, Bill, it doesn't matter how good the shower install is if you don't fix the customer, it doesn't matter. The oh by the ways, or whatever questions they have, or whatever it happens to be, you have to fix the customer, or at least don't break them, but certainly fix the customer, because after all, that's why we're there, really.
Yeah, leave the customer better than you found them.
Yep.
Yeah. The whole reason they're buying is they have a need, right? And for some reason, whatever that reason is, they went to you, but you've got to fulfill that need. Now, during the sales process, you're asking questions to try and find out what is their hot button. Did they not like their frame door? Was water getting out or something leaking? What was it? What's their trepidation? And what is it that you're there to fix? And once you fix it, you make them feel good. And then the rest is fluff, teach them how to take care of it, how to maintain it, who to call in case there's a problem. Those are all big deals, but it's all about fixing the customer. Of course it is. Yeah. It's you're fixing a need. And many times they're afraid to buy out of fear. They're afraid that they're hiring the wrong guy. They're not really sure. And that's why I asked Greg about the Google reviews, because you look at Google reviews, everybody uses them now for whatever you buy. You're going to look at it and say, well, how are the reviews on this one and that one? It's a big deal. And when they see that they've had that they read that there's a customer that had a problem with your company, but you answered the phone and you went back and fixed it, that actually carries more weight than everything went perfect on the first time. The fact that you stood up for what you had to do and you fixed it for them, that goes a longer way. I think it holds more credibility in the customer's eye.
What you said, Bill, just now is really true. And actually that customer I was talking about at the beginning, when I went back the first time to add the door to the enclosure, I had a problem with it. It didn't work out right. It didn't line up just quite right. You know how the tolerances are. I mean, they're pretty tight.
Yeah.
And it was like not lining up. It was like a 16th of an inch. And he was kind of a particular guy. And in this particular instance, we got to that point and I said, hey, if I gave you $200, would that make you feel better about this? He said, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's a great solution sometimes. Sometimes it's just a few bucks is enough to make somebody change their whole mind about it, because it's really not that big of a deal. They just want to feel like you took care of them. And for me, that's cheap. I mean, if I can throw money at something, that is easy. And this is the guy who ended up being my buddy, at the end of it all, because I was reasonable. I didn't try to argue. I didn't try to, stand my ground and tell him why he was wrong, why I was right, and why he should see it my way. I was just like, hey man, what can we do to solve this problem? What can I do to fix you? I didn't tell him that, but I love what Brian said there, man. I've never heard it put that way, but it's really the truth. We're there to fix. It's really not the shower that we're fixing, is it? It's the customer.
Yeah. One of the best quotes I read out of a book is that, the old adage is the customer's always right. And this guy turned it around and says, the customer is not always right, but it's your job to make them feel like they are. and it's, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, Chris, like you were talking about going back and putting a door in after you put a panel in. It's like, you measure it. It's not like taking a piece of plywood and cutting it and get what you want to fit. So there are tolerances, because if you've done the panel and the door at the same time, then you can play with everything and make it work. So that's the tough part, when you have to go back and put a door in against a fixed panel that's already there too.
I think what you touched on, Chris, about bringing it to the customer's attention proactively is huge too, because it instills so much confidence in the customer that you're not trying to sneak anything past them.
No.
And for any of you guys that have multiple crews, do you tell your installers when you first get there, instead of just coming in with your tools in the bucket, to introduce themselves and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I'm here to put in your shower door, and kind of give them tear down their defenses, because their defenses are automatically up. You know, they're probably answering the door going, okay, what Yahoo's coming today? So the guy's got to tear down those defenses first. Introduce yourself, make them feel comfortable with you. Hey, my name is Brian, my name is Tim, and I'm here to install your shower door. And any questions you have, I'm right here for you. Because the guys won't be as picky at the end of the job because you did that. It's the guys that go in there that are really quiet and they think they're sneaky. They're going to go in and inspect every little thing and probably stick their finger in the wet caulking and make it more difficult.
They all do that.
Yeah, they all do it.
They all do that.
You tell them, don't use it for 24 hours. You're not even in your truck yet.
And they go like that.
Gob of silicone on your finger.
I mean,
So tempting.
Do any of you guys text, like some of the plumbing places and electrician places will text you a picture of the tech coming? Do you guys do that yet?
No.
what now?
Good question, though. That's a good one.
We actually are in the process of setting that up right now. We text all of our customers 24 hours in advance and let them know they're on the schedule to confirm or reconfirm that they're on the schedule if they have to cancel or something. But we always list the technicians that are coming to their house to install or measure, so they know who's showing up at their house that day as well. But we're in the process of having professional pictures taken of all of our employees, and they will get text and image of the installers that are actually coming to their house.
Nice. And are all your guys' vehicles wrapped?
Yes.
Do they know who's pulling up?
Yeah. Yeah, we tell them
I
to expect that. Yes.
I missed that. What was the question?
The wrapped vehicles?
Lettered, you know.
Oh,
very,
yeah.
Very well defined.
That's
who's
right.
coming there. Yeah. You know, some guys might have pickups that are unmarked or subcontractors. If you're a really big crew and you hire subcontractors, that's difficult. But I know in our case, they're all lettered. And I know, Greg, yours are all lettered. Brandon, yours are all lettered, right? So everybody that I've seen, a couple of weeks ago, we asked guys to send in pictures of their truck, not only of the outside, but also of the inside. And it was really interesting to see it. But everybody we looked at, it was lettered well. So it was easily recognizable who's coming up to your house.
Like my sales rep came in today from the shop, and my supplier, I said, we got any new shops around here? And he goes, no. And so I'm seeing a lot of trucks that have no lettering on them. And the reason to do that, because they can come down here and go to Carmel for the business license. That's why they don't put their lettering on there.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't go over very big in Carmel. Those guys down there are pretty picky.
Oh, Carmel's got so many nosy people, and they'll call, well, there's a truck down here that doesn't have a, send somebody out and nail them for it.
I was down there yesterday doing a job. Very nice people.
Well, people are nice in Carmel, but I lived in Carmel for years, and we have nosy neighbors.
All right. Well, who else? Who's got some words of wisdom about how to retain customers? Make a customer a regular customer.
Chris, I don't know if Bid Clips is this or not. I haven't talked to Jim enough about what his software is, but how many glass shops are using any type of CRM on a regular basis?
Yeah, we are. I know Brandon is, because Brandon's actually got one. Chris, you're using one, right?
Yes. The CRM I use is from Zoho. It's called Zoho CRM. It's pretty affordable. CRM, it's something I started using a few years ago, and so I'm just used to it, and I like it a lot. It really helps me, keep track of what's going on, keep things from falling through the cracks, and there's an app, for my phone, so if I get out there and I forget where I am or what I'm doing or who I'm talking to or whatever, I can pull it out and find all the details in there, what the balance owed is. Or I even got a link that where I can click on, it'll go to I have OneDrive, And so it'll pull up all their drawings or all their documents and stuff right there on my phone. So yeah, CRM is hugely important.
So I'm a little out of it. What's a CRM?
Customer relationship.
Customer,
Your customer
relationship management.
Relationship management.
Yeah, customer relationship management. So all your customers, their phone numbers, their order history, their quote history, depending upon how it might be the designs and the pricing as well.
Okay.
So the reason why I was asking is that, you know, when I was in outside sales, I actually brought on a CRM to HMI when I started, because when I moved to New England, I was given a list of customers and they said, go get them, you know. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a new area to me, new customers. How do I make sense of this? So I have found this company called Badger Mapping, which some of you may have heard of. Fantastic software for prospecting, but also as a basic CRM. So it enabled me to make sense of my routes and my customers and making the rounds. And I know that doesn't apply necessarily to glass shops unless you have outside sales guys that are going out to see, you know, make calls on contractors and things like that, designers. But the reason I mentioned it, because it made me think about that when you're talking about retaining customers, is using a CRM and having your guys use a CRM, I feel like is such an important thing. Because I would go, you know, as soon as I would come out of a sales call, I would enter in just some basic details of what I talked to the customer about, you know, whether it was business related or just personal related. And so the next time I would go in there, I'd open up those last notes from the last time I went in there, and I would look at, oh yeah, so Bill, you know, recently, you know, got a new car or something. So when I go in, I say, hey, Bill, how are you liking the new car or whatever? He's like, man, I can't believe you remembered that. I'm like, well, I didn't remember it, but thankfully. So, I mean, but that goes a long way with people, and it's okay to use technology to help you remember things and help build that relationship, I think.
Yeah.
So David, I got a question for you. Is HMI, is that Hosking and Muir?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that from ages ago.
Long ago.
For a long time.
Yeah. You know, I haven't been in this business too long, but.
You know, following up on what Dave said with the CRM, one of the other reasons that we're really getting into it is because when you do a lot of advertising, you want to know where your source of the lead comes from. So you know if you're getting return on investment for that advertising, if it's paying off, what particular demographic you're hitting. And with a very robust CRM, you can get all that information and you can get a live dashboard. So if you saw a call come in at 10 o'clock this morning, you can track it back that, well, the TV ad ran at 9:45. Oh, what was the ad? Okay, it was on NBC and this is what it said. And then you can start tracking your history of what made your phone ring. We advertise in the home mag. We know what days it hits the mailbox. We have a coupon code in there. And so your director of marketing or whoever does your marketing, that's really big analytics for them to have. So you know where to pour your money if you're going to start getting into an advertising campaign. Again, it goes back to what we've talked about in the past. How big do you want your business to get? You know, some guys really don't want to put any money, just want to work word of mouth or builders, and that's great. That's okay. But as you grow, or if you want to grow, you really do need to keep track of all your venues of advertising and which ones work and which ones don't work. Other than that, you're just a shotgun approach and you're going to hit something, but you want to be more accurate on, you know, your target market and get a better return on investment. So those CRMs are very, very, very important, but they're only as good as the people that fill them out.
True.
Like anything else with computers.
Yeah, you know,
So
another great thing about having a CRM is that if you do have, you know, a lot of people in your organization, it's an easy way to share that information, you know, between people. So you know what the salesperson discussed. If they take, you know, good notes and put it in the CRM, then the next person who goes out there can just review that and see those things about they just got a new car, or their dog's name is Fido, or whatever
Sure.
it is, and then it just kind of gives you that hive mind sort of opportunity.
Knowledge is power.
So would Smart Tools be considered CRM?
I don't think so. I don't think like specifically. CRM is kind of a pretty specific thing, and it's just really it's mainly a database that you can communicate from. So it keeps track of all of your logistical information, notes. It's for managing your relationships with customers.
And there's different types. So like Salesforce is the #1 CRM in the world, really. And they have multi-levels, and it can become very expensive, or you can buy a small module of it. Depends how much you want to track. So then you can have it tie in with your accounting software. So once you set up a customer and you create it in your database, now when that becomes an order, your order entry people don't have to start from scratch. They already have the customer name, phone number, address, all of the pertinent information is already there. So it makes order entry more accurate and quicker. So it depends what type of a CRM you get and how robust you want it to be.
Yeah, the one that I use, I was talking about, it's called Zoho. It's like a couple $100 a year for the subscription. So it's really affordable. I mean, I'm just a one-man thing. So, well, I've got my wife too. So between the two of us, I mean, it's plenty for what we do. And it's customizable. You can, kind of tailor it to exactly the way that you want to use it. And again, that's pretty cheap, but Bill's right. I mean, it can go from a couple $100 a year to like many thousands
Thousands a month.
But if you use it properly, you're going to make thousands because of it. So
Absolutely.
it's a business investment.
It's going to replace, it's going to take the place of people, really, basically. I mean, it's going to manage your customers the way that, a couple of people.
If you're a smaller guy and you're growing your business and you're bringing on people are going to take vacations. They're going to get sick. The CRM will be, I guess in old days, was a Rolodex. You would grab the guy's Rolodex and you'd look through it, all the notes, right? Or an index file. But this is electronics. You can get it from your phone. So Jay's on vacation. I've got Corey's schedule and I can look at everything that Jay's talked to that customer about in the past. So it's very, very good. And like Chris, you tie it to a OneDrive or something cloud-based. Just from your phone, you can send them pictures of other showers that look like theirs so they know what it's like. You can keep track of your estimates, the drawings, so you can keep it cloud-based also, back it up once a year. So if they break the glass 3 years down the road, you don't have to go out and remeasure, you just look up their order and reorder it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. CRM, that's a good tool for keeping customers, keeping existing customers, making them long-term customers. One thing that I started doing a few years back was I started making a note to follow up with installations 1 year after the installation date. So, and I've been able to kind of automate that more recently with the help of, Brandon and Castro. Those guys put together this cool little app called Follow Up. And I've been using that. It's almost like CRM, only it's kind of the next level above that. It's actually an automated, artificial intelligence sort of thing that kind of automatically can follow up with your customers. But anyway, I have that set up to where 1 year after I finish the installation, it sends them out a text and says, hey, I just wanted to let you know it's been a year since we installed your shower door. And I want to make sure that you still love your shower door. And that freaks people out, man. I mean, people get back to me and they're like, wow, I can't believe you did that. It's like, yeah, we absolutely love it. Now, 1 out of about 50, I guess, will say, oh, I'm glad you got in touch with me because the door's dragging a little or the handle got loose. And it's like, awesome. That's why I got in touch, because I want to make sure before you go out of warranty, we can take care of that. You know, so who contacts you and says, your thing's about to go out of warranty. We want to make sure we fix it before it does. Who does that? We do that.
Are you 1 year, Chris?
Yeah, 1 year. 1 year on labor.
Parts and labor, 1 year.
Just workmanship. I mean, I think hardware suppliers, most of them have a 3-year warranty, right? Some people warranty it forever. I think Cardinals warranties their stuff forever. Is that right, David?
So on hardware and stuff, it's a 10-year warranty.
10
5
years.
to 10 years, depending on the part, but yeah.
That's practically forever.
Yeah.
If it's going to last 10 years, it's going to last forever.
Yeah.
It is really.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about any new guys? You got any questions for us? Why did you come on this tonight? What enticed you to come on? And it's important information for Chris and I so that we can bring on more people and get a wider view of everybody.
I think it was like my terrible audio from the last one.
Yeah.
And I say, man, we need to get on here and help this guy. This old dude's like, he's blowing it.
You know, I'll answer that. You know, I want to be bigger. I want to be better. And part of being bigger is getting better, I think. And so learning about what other shops are doing, learning about what some of the big guys like some of you guys are doing. Heck, learning about what the single guys are doing more than I am. Obviously, from my question about smart tools, I have neither smart tools or a CRM. And so I'm here to learn.
Good.
Good answer, man.
Yeah, I would say the same. Kind of to pick up little gems from you guys here and there. I've been logging on, you know, and listening in from time to time, but I haven't joined in on the Zoom. But I think for me anyway, when I'm here face to face, it feels like I'm more part of it, which forces me to listen differently, kind of absorb the information a little differently, and you know, take what works and leave the rest type of thing. I mean, just being on here tonight, I've heard some pretty good stuff. You know, little things that I could do better, you know, because ideally I'd like to grow my business. I just don't want to get more work. I want to make a better and bigger name for myself.
Yeah, see, that's super. And, you know, Brian, you have a pretty good presence on our group, you know, commenting, posting pictures and that. So that's really good to stay active, because you'll see there's guys on here, but they're here every Wednesday, but you don't see them post too much. So you know, and the guys that do post, I'm trying to reach out to them and see if they'll join the group as well, because it's good to put a face to it and know who you're talking to. And I also like getting a feel of how's business throughout the country. You know, Naples, Fort Myers might be an anomaly in this country. I don't know, but everybody I've talked to is busy. I don't care if they're in Phoenix or Knoxville or Austin. Everybody's busy. So I haven't had anybody say, I need more business. There hasn't been one person on here ever says, I need more business.
Mm-hmm.
They need more people.
Yeah. You know, one of the other reasons why I forgot to say this, why I wanted to join the group is connections. You know, we're all in the same industry. We're all doing the same things, and tips and tricks and all of that stuff is great. But we were just talking a little while ago about relationships, and that's partly how they're formed in this day and age is through Zoom calls and what we're doing now. So I think doing this for me will help in the long run to make connections, maybe with Greg in Knoxville or whatever. And that's only going to help me, and maybe I can help somebody else. I don't know. But the connections is is partly why I'm here as well.
Well, the interesting thing about Chattanooga is it's not that far from us, but we don't really do hardly any work in Chattanooga. It's almost like Chattanooga, people either do Chattanooga or Atlanta. So people in Chattanooga don't go, hey, I think I'm going to go to Knoxville and shop my shower door. I think they tend to head south towards Atlanta. So the reason I say that is I don't see you as somebody that I'm like, oh boy, I don't want to share anything with them. If you want to come up to Knoxville, I'll be happy to tour the facility. And you can see we got a tempering oven and fabricators and crews, all that type of thing. So we have, just like I glommed on to Bill years ago and jumped in and saw his showroom, and I've toured his facility, and it's always helpful to go see the bigger guys. It really gives you the inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will take you up on that, Greg. And for the record, I don't have any desire to go to Knoxville for the shower doors or competition, but no, I think that is sort of the essence of what this group I think is about, is sharing knowledge. And thank you for the invite, because that's something that is very interesting to me, because I started my glass shop 14 years ago, no knowledge of the glass industry at all. I don't do that. So the way I do things is the way I just imagined it to be done. I don't do them because I know that that's the way that the industry does it. So I've just kind of made all this stuff up. Am I doing it right? Apparently I'm doing something right, but I can always learn something from other shops and from other shops that have been around a way long time before me. And like I think David said, family-owned business. I think you said that. Mm-hmm. There's just a wealth of knowledge that can be passed on through those relationships.
I love that, man. I feel like I think it was 2 years ago. No, I'm sorry. 2 years ago was COVID. Our two glass builds ago was COVID. It was three. I guess it was in 2019. At the glass build in Atlanta, where I started to see just in the industry, it seemed like an opening up of, guys that are competitors, sharing knowledge with each other, sharing tips and tricks, and it becoming much more of a collaborative, a rising tide, if you will, for the entire industry. And it's really cool to see. I mean, I'm still fairly young in the industry, but having been in it my whole life and having seen a shift from, when I was first in the industry, where people, kept their trade secrets to themselves. And, we're in the age of the internet, and the guys that are coming up in the industry today grew up with the internet and with Google. And I have to believe that there's not a whole lot of true industry secrets anymore. That you can't find online or can't find on YouTube or something. And I think it's really cool to see just the collaborative nature of this industry coming together and really, letting their defenses down and working to help each other. Everybody gets better. The name of the glass industry gets better when everybody gets better. And I think any industry can use that, but I think the glass industry is one where, it's not like being a plumber or an electrician where, you have a license and you do all these things. I think sometimes we can be viewed as an industry that's it's not one of the trades that's as regulated or prestigious or whatever you want to say as some of those trades. But I think the sharing of knowledge and the rising tide that raises all the boats, I think is really cool to see.
David, one of the neatest thing about this group is we've had topics for everything. But when you made a comment about, they grew up on the internet, they can find things on YouTube or whatever, what they can't find is what's the right drill bit to use when you're drilling granite or porcelain or this? What's the correct caulking to use that doesn't give you a fungicide? What's the, or some kind of reaction to a brushed nickel finish? That's the thing the average homeowner doesn't know. Right. Also, and they're not artistic. I mean, anybody can bake a cake, right? But you'll go to a special cake maker if you wanted something for a wedding. Yeah, you could do it yourself, but
Sure.
you have to have the artistic touch, no different than you have to know how to hold a caulking gun and put a good bead down. Because you could have the nicest product in the world and really make it a mess if you do a terrible job caulking. So it's that artistic thing that you can't learn over the internet without hours and hours and hours of practice.
Absolutely.
But the correct screws, I've seen novices or do-it-yourselfers put their shower doors in with things that rust. You know, 2 years later, there's just orange coming out from underneath the channels because they didn't know any better.
Right.
So trying to save a buck and do it themselves, bit them in the rear, you know, down the road. So this is where this group is really good. They'll say, hey, what's the best drill to use if you're drilling into quartz?
Right.
You know, what's the best supplier? What tape is good if you're taping off a caulking joint? These are things that we share, and yeah, it's not a competitor. I mean, if I tell Brandon we do this, that's not going to hurt me.
Right.
This is what this group is really good for.
Absolutely.
And when Brian said he joined it because he wanted contacts and networking, Chris and I did this, maybe a month ago, Chris, you started making an Excel spreadsheet of members of this group so that we could share it. So if somebody said, hey, do you know somebody in the South Shore of Massachusetts? I can go, yeah, I know Joe Flynn. Let's give him a call, you know, and we can share,
Joe, man.
We can share names of guys in this group. It's really good.
I was just texting Chris on the side in the chat saying, hey, has Joe Flynn been on here yet? he's
we
a
had
good
him
buddy.
on 3 weeks ago. I texted him earlier tonight.
Oh, yeah, he did come on one time, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
One time.
Nice.
That guy, he's hard to get, you know. Celebrities,
Busy man.
you know, celebrities. No, that's some great stuff, you know, and I love what Brian and Brian said, the two Brians. You know, it's like, because when Bill asked that question, so what had you come on tonight? And they both said similar things. So like, oh, listening, you know, on the side, but wanted to get on here and just learn some stuff. But it's interesting. It's like, well, you guys could have just stayed off and listened, and you know, and you're learning stuff and you're hearing stuff. But there's something different about getting in the water, right? I mean, so it's kind of taking it to that next step, and there's something about contributing to throwing your part in. I'll never forget, I was an apprentice. I started out in the commercial glass industry. That's what my dad did. My dad was a commercial glazer, my older brother and all that, working on high rises. And I was an apprentice, and we had this situation where we had all these storefront doors on this high rise, and all of them had the wrong jam material. Instead of a regular door jam, it was that riglet jam, you know. And they went to close the door, and they went to turn the deadbolt, and the deadbolt wouldn't close because of the riglet. And there's a group of guys standing around looking at it, scratching their heads. What are we going to do here? We drill these out, man. It's going to take forever. And I said, well, hey, what if we took like a cold chisel and a hammer and just hammered that thing in until the deadbolt would pass it? And they were like, oh, that's a good idea. Man, you know how good that felt, being just like a first-year apprentice and being there and having that opportunity to throw an idea out there and it being like a decent, usable idea. I mean, it made me feel like, man, I'm a part of this community. And I love that. And it's like, that's really never changed for me. You know, I just love being a part of this community. You know, I love being able to contribute. I love what I get out of it. And there's nobody that's so new that they can't contribute something or just see things. You know, sometimes when you're kind of an outsider, if you're like, you know, Brian Jerd, you know, and you're coming in, you've never been in the glass industry before, and now you are, you might see things that none of us would ever see because we've just been around this for so long that we would just never look at it from that angle, you know? And so if you want to really get something out, get in. You know, I've got a buddy who says, he's kind of a philosopher, and he always says, the hole you receive through is never bigger than the hole you give through. You know, so it's like, get in there, sow a few seeds, and it'll, you know, bring back a harvest of good information. That's what I found. Okay, I'm done preaching now.
So, Chris, what we should say to these new guys, and David also as a supplier, it's really good to see. I mean, we've got installers, manufacturers, suppliers. It's a really good mix. And if there's any other suppliers that are non-competitors to you, or even if they are, reach out to them, ask them to come on here, because it's really good to expose everybody to everything that's available to us. I like it a lot. But if you guys have questions you think during the week, post it on for Chris, and then he'll bring it up as a topic next week, or he may even give us a heads up, like by Monday. Hey, Wednesday night, we've been asked to talk about this, this, or this, and we can try and put our heads together and come up with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Bill, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Last week you were saying you're going to meet with Sierra Lawrence and your suppliers.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I had a meeting this morning with, it was Jeff at FHC.
Okay.
Came in this morning. I had a great meeting this morning. He's getting back to me by the end of the week with the information that I needed him to get for me.
Okay.
Very good meeting.
Yeah.
That's why I asked him to come on tonight.
Yeah.
He just couldn't make it, but he'll probably be on next week. Now, Jeff is a rep. He's not really on the FHC payroll. He's an outside sales rep, but he's been with Sierra Lawrence and with himself for years. He's from the Pittsburgh area, but he handles the Southeast United States now.
Yeah. Yeah. So this morning, my glass cable, I had so many boxes from Sierra Lawrence.
Yeah.
Partial shipments of everything. We had to open everything up and put them all in one box to make sure I had everything. I mean, it's just, and then I've ordered stuff from FHC because Sierra Lawrence didn't have it. So you have to marry everything together.
All right, to give you an idea, what I'm trying to do is I've got warehousing space, and I wanted to see if I couldn't be like a master distributor for FHC, order thousands, and then be able to service guys like you that can't get them from Sierra Lawrence that are on back order.
Right.
But FHC has been priced higher than Sierra Lawrence.
They are.
And I know for a lot of guys, pricing is a big deal. But to me, I'll pay $2 or $3 more if I can get it and get the job done. Because I got $1,700 on the other end being held up for a $40 hinge.
Yeah, like I wanted 12-foot lengths of half-inch matte black channel.
Yeah.
Sierra Lawrence didn't have it. I had an order from FHC. But if Sierra Lawrence had it, they would transfer it on their truck to Union City and send it to me.
Right.
And for half the freight price.
Sure.
You know, so I had to order it from the FHC, and the freight was, you know, twice the amount.
Now, I could have sworn FHC has it if you're $500 order or more, it's free.
No, it was, I mean, it was like three 12-foot lengths of, you know, half-inch black, matte black channel. What, $30 worth of metal for, I forget what the freight charge was, but the contractor wanted it. So
I feel your pain.
You had a conversation with him today, Bill, because I just had a conversation with my rep at FHC today that was at Sierra Lawrence for 30 years, and he's been over there for the last 8 months, and that's what they do, though. So you should be able to do something like that, because they do that with like True Light. They'll that way you don't have to. You can go pick it up at True Light in Arizona instead of having to get it shipped, and it saves you on shipping for a channel and longer. So. They have some stuff. We were talking about New York. They have a place in Syracuse and all that. So,
yeah. So we're trying to, Sierra Lawrence already had a special pricing set up if you're a temperer. Temperers have what they call their lowest price list, because what they would like to do is sell you master cartons of it. And then when you're selling glass to the local guys that want to order from you, you can supply their hardware with the order. Yeah. So it makes sense. And it really pays a lot of our freight. They pay zero freight. We'll bring it in, and if I'm delivering 10 panels to some guy in Tampa, I'll get him the hinges, the channel, and the handles, everything with it. And he pays zero freight. So it's a win-win for everybody. And we can make something on the margin, the difference of what I would have ordered a onesie Tuesday, or if I had a $1,000 order. So that's what we're trying to do, is build up a Southeast inventory. But any of these guys that, we had a guy last week that needed a brushed bronze or brushed gold finish, and we might be able to get it from one of our guys on this group. So we're trying to put that together.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having this kind of relationship with each other.
Yeah.
That's that's not, we're competitors, yes, we're competition, but there's such a thing as friendly competition, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and we're all on the same side, really, at the end of the day. So that whole old-fashioned idea of fighting, is antiquated, man. It's passe. It's no more. It's like David was talking about earlier. I love the way that he put it. Just that change that we're seeing, the sea change of in our industry, especially our little kind of niche, of this collaboration. I mean, I think it sets an example for the glass industry as a whole, and just industry as a whole. I mean, if all of the different trades started doing something like this, just imagine, how much we can accomplish, in the building trades and in terms of customer service and all that great stuff. So anyway,
for the newer guys, the National Glass Association has their ears open to this. Andrew Herring is actually trying to put together a group, and I think a number of us have been asked to be on that.
Yeah.
To work on a board for standards in the glass industry for shower doors. There really hasn't been a good national book of standards. There was one years ago, but it's changed so much.
Well,
so because of Chris's thing here, they're trying to put that together.
Yeah, so there was a guy, Don Harder.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the head of California Glass Association, or AMA. I can send you the booklet he started.
Yeah,
I have it.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start.
Of standards on shower doors.
Yeah,
and it never got through.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we can modify it.
Yeah,
but like I said, he started the book on that.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, that'd be a good starting place. I mean, to begin and just build from there. May not be that much that needs to be added, but just kind of.
I just thought it would be good for the Bryans to know that this group is actually got some credence behind it, and for the NGA to reach out to us and try and help coordinate that. That's pretty good.
That's cool. Yeah,
because he put out the book, The Source.
I thought you just said Cretan, Bill.
What's that?
And then
you said credence. I thought you said there were a bunch of Cretans in the book.
Oh,
yeah, credence.
They want to get us from credence to add some credence.
Crustacean.
No, but Don put out the book called The Source of Everything. Yeah. And then he started this. He tried to start the shower door thing.
Well, maybe we should save that for another day, because we've kind of used up our hour, and but that might be a good
we're way past it
to chat on.
And I can send you a copy of the book if you want.
Please do send me a copy. You got my
I will. I'll copy it and send it to you.
It's
quite interesting,
Chris, next time you're doing a job in Carmel, just stop by and pick it up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Sand City.
You haven't invited me over for coffee or anything.
Well, I'm in Sand City,
Sand City, I drive through there all the time, man.
I know.
Okay, just let me know, man. I'll stop in and say hi.
This is starting to get awkward, Chris.
You
guys gotta work this out.
Let's get out of here. I gotta go have dinner. I hear my wife calling me.
I'm at home tonight. My dog was barking. That's why you muted me.
David, if you want to
you
do
guys.
more,
welcome, Greg, Brian, David. Thanks so much for coming and joining us.
Brian, thank you for representing us.
Yeah. And not a mistake. I just grabbed a shirt to after I got out of the shower, and it happened to be that one. So there you go.
Appreciate that.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Next week, guys.
Nice.
See ya.
Take care.